Hey lads, welcome back to another NRL Fantasy Fanatics YouTube video. Tonight we've got our buy hold sell for the week, some juicy picks and some nice players we got in this week. As always, joined by Will. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. So let's kick things off here with our almost must-have of the week. We've got Jamie Humphries coming in at 403k after a 75-point performance last week with only a try assist and 732 kick meters. I just cannot see a way you can't get this guy on your team. You got to get him in somehow. Um, the kicking meters were ridiculous. He didn't even have many attacking stats, just the try assist. And if he does get the a two double try assist or maybe even sneak over for a try, this bloke could easily see 80 points. He could be Nathan Cleary type scoring. You obviously have some interest in Humphreys as well, Will.
Yeah, he's up 16% of ownership this week. And yeah, those kicking meters were crazy. Cody Walker's not a massive kicker, so that is why I kind of like Humphreys there, but he goal kicks too. And not a overly hard draw coming up with the Dragons, Roosters, and Cowboys, who all put on pretty woeful performances on the weekend. And yeah, I mean, I also like that he made 30 tackles for zero misses. He has played down the middle there with a break even of zero. I think the only red flag for Jamie is does he hold his spot over Lewis Dodd? But Lewis has been is like named in the reserves and was on a rehab bib, so he will get at least this week here. And if they can put another win together and he gets a good game together, I don't think Wayne will be at all scared to keep Jamie there over Lewis Dodd. So yeah, I think it's a risk that you kind of got to take because even if he scores a 50 and gets dropped, it's still another 50k that you can bank and upgrade elsewhere. But I see Jamie holding a spot, and I see him as probably the must-have of the week, along with another 16% of people.
Yeah, I do agree. Um, like you said, his break even on the NRL app is -6 at the moment, which means if he gets another score of 70-ish, he's going to go up 80k, which is absolutely ridiculous. But Wayne Bennett has shared no insight that Dodd's going to get back in the team. So it is a bit of a coin toss, but I think Humphries is a much more talented player than Dodd will ever be. So if I was Wayne Bennett, I'm keeping this bloke in the team. So I will move on. A second by Tom Gilbert, one who I was especially keen on all preseason and stuck with him round one, and it paid off big time, scoring what I think 60 something points. Let's see, 65 points
65.
from 56 minutes. That is absolutely nuts. PPM of 1.0 something, crazy points. Break even at 23 this week, 529k. You'd also argue a case he's probably not a must-have, but a very strong buy. If you can afford to downgrade one of your mids or maybe upgrade a cheaper mid, if you have the cash in the bank, I'd probably end up going with Tom Gilbert if I could. So are you personally looking at Tom in your team this week?
Still no. I'd like another week at Tom there. Just for me, the 56 minutes is a little bit of a worry, as I don't think he can keep this one ppm up, especially when you look at his career. His ppm is a 0.83 while playing locking over 50 minutes for me, which if he keeps this 56-minute roll, probably only get to 48 or so. They are a little bit decimated this week, but again, with Mark Nichols back through the middle, could see maybe maybe not less minutes, but maybe a couple more minutes for or the same amount of minutes for Tom Gilbert there. So I wouldn't say I'm not interested in him. I just kind of want to see it another week, as I don't think he's going to make 59 tackles in 56 minutes every single week, and I don't think every single game will be as close as that Rabbitohs game was. So yeah, for me, I'm just going to wait one more week on Tom, as he also does like to miss a lot of tackles there. So if his tackles are down 15 there and keeps those free miss tackles, he doesn't score as well at all. So for me, Tom's one that I will watch one more week, and I will take a if I have to watch Tom for another week and he scores another 60, I will cop that.
Yeah, you did mention his PPM of 0.83 over 50 minutes. There is only one outlier game, or maybe two, the 43 and the 35. The rest, he's basically bang on, and the other 43, he's basically bang on
But
one
you
point per
see,
minute.
two of those games worth tries there with that game against the Raiders and that game against the Cowboys. If you take away those tries, he doesn't score anywhere near as well.
Mark my words, this guy's going to score. Even if he does score 50, or 52 this week. That's still 13 points of value, and he's going to go up about 30k. So there's no really any reason to not have this guy in your team. So we'll move on. He's a great buy. Another great buy, Corey Horsburgh, one who me and you stuck with for round one, and that paid off, didn't it? 57 points from 59 minutes at prop. 60-minute player at prop is absolutely nuts. As we've mentioned, he's looking as fit as a fiddle. He's looking the best he's looked in yonks. And I reckon you'd make a case that Corey's probably almost a better buy than Gilbert. Just Gilbert does have that dual position, which you'd probably rather. Um, what are your thoughts on Corey? Still obviously a very strong buy in your eyes.
Yeah, well, I've been big on Corey all preseason, and I've said it's going to be Corey Horsburgh's season. And with Joe Tarpany suspended, they're going to need someone. He's kind of the leader of the pack, Joe, and I think that Corey's come back. Ricky's always put in good words for Corey there, and I think yeah, now with Joe gone, I think he's really going to have to step up. And with that bench having two edges and a hooker there, it could scream massive minutes for Corey Horsburgh. Did get 59 on the weekend, but sorry. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a 65-minute game from Corey here at all. And yeah, with Corey's PPM and just his knack to offload, good tackler there. I think that yeah, Corey's close to a no-brainer for the next 2 weeks, considering the fact that what's his face is out. That Joe Tarpany is out.
Happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Do
do
you,
agree.
do you agree with Corey being the same as close to a must-have?
Yeah, Corey is almost a must-have, as you can see. Getting 60 minutes as a prop is a big deal, and as you know, props get almost over 1 point per minute every game. So yeah, I'd argue he's a must-have.
Sort of in that
Next
half
player we
breed.
got.
Do you reckon he's
What's
in
that?
that
Sorry,
half breed if he gets over 60 points? Oh, over 60 minutes?
is what?
Do you reckon he's in that like Haas breed if he gets over 60 minutes?
No, no. Let's stop there, mate. First hold of the video, we got Harry Grant on the buy. 711k, really not his best game with a try and 40 points in an absolute flogging in the Storm vs Eels game. Worrying signs there, but only 28 tackles. Tackles were down as well. I wouldn't be too concerned if I was a Harry Grant owner, as he's a proven gun, and you got to give your guns more than a week. So he's a strong hold for me. Um, would you make the same argument there?
Yeah, definitely a hold. He's been sold by about 2% of teams, which I think is a mistake there. I think that he yeah, tackles were really far down for Harry. Like if he usually would make another 15 tackles there and get around a 55 there, and in a game where the Storm put on such a big cricket score, he would also get a couple more attacking stats there. The try was kind of one that I would consider a 8 point try instead of a 15 to 20 point try with no line break there and no real tackle bust or anything there for Harry. But yeah, for me, I think Harry's definitely a very strong hold. You started with him for a reason, and even last year, yes, he was down a bit, but he still was able to manage massive scores there. And yeah, I think Harry's been a proven gun. And what other hooker would you really go with? Peter Mamazoulis hasn't killed him
Yeah.
by any stretch of the imagination. Like I think that Harry is one you have to hold. Break even is high, but I just don't see what's the use of selling him.
Yeah, another good thing is he's just what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. He's on a buy obviously, which makes a great looping option. And if you can get a looping option every week, you're laughing. Looping, they're so handy to have. There's just no case where you should sell this guy. And I agree. Um, you've gotta keep him. So that's why Harry Grant's a hold in our eyes. And yeah, if you're selling him, you're out of your mind, in our opinion. He's a gun. Everyone knows what he can do. So we'll move on to our second hold, one who some people may not agree with and who have already got rid of him. Alex Seyfarth coming in at 466k. Break even of 40. Not his best game, unfortunately, with the HIA scoring, I think 30 to 31 points, not
29.
enough really to justify him. But I'm personally holding Seyfarth as you can see here, he was on track for around 70, early 70s, late 70 minutes. And as you can see, when he gets those minutes, he has an average of 54, which is 19 points of value. And then if he can get anywhere near 50, he's going to shoot up in value. So would you agree that Stayfast's a hold in your side?
Yeah, incredibly. I even told one of our private group members that he could be a buy this week. I think he had a really bad game on the weekend, just didn't look himself. But if that offload run that he got would have been like an 8 point play there, if that paid off, he would have gotten a 37, and then with the extra 15 minutes there, he would have had a 45, and no one would be close to selling him there. So I think it wasn't really a safe half game, and yeah, I expect a pretty good draw too coming in with Para, Dolphins, and the Warriors. Couple of attacking stats there, and yeah, very good tackler there for safe half. So definitely a hold. I would not be looking to sell at all. What do you think?
I do agree.
Yeah,
466K, mid-edge duel. Like you said, went off with a HIA. If he didn't go off with a HIA, I reckon he would have scored late 30s, maybe even early 40s if he had a better little 15-minute stint there. So yeah, no reason why you should sell him. Strong hold for us.
yeah, 1.36% of teams have sold him.
Yeah, just keep him, guys. Like mid-edge duel, yeah, he's a great player. Just keep him. Another hold that a lot of people wouldn't agree with, Jaxon Purdue, coming in at 245K, had a shocker of a game, which is fair enough as Cowboys got absolutely rolled by the Eagles. And another point is the bloke had Tamale Olakau'atu running at him for 80 minutes, which is why he missed a few tackles leading to tries. But look, it's just the luck of a draw. He's not going to have that sort of edge running at him every week, which is why I can see him scoring some decent scores here in the future of about maybe 35 to 45, which will get you about 15 points of value. So I think he is a hold, and 245K, you can only lose a maximum of 15K more, which is really what you want. So I think he's personally a hold. Would you agree with what I said there?
Yeah, I think he's a hold, but I don't think he's going to average anywhere close to 35 to 45. I,
I didn't say he's going to average
yeah,
close to 35. I said he'll have those games of around 35 to 40.
yeah, he definitely could there, but I mean, you see there never really robbed it like and done anything really of note at center there. He's a good player though, but yeah, still very young. I just think that it's one that you kind of hold on your emergencies and hope that he can kind of find better form, and the Cowboys can kind of find better form with a pretty tough draw too, to be honest, with Cronulla, Broncos, Raiders, Panthers, then the Rabbitohs under their bye. I do think it's hopefully you can get a couple early tries. As is he covering the Val Holmes edge?
Um, yeah, he is. He is. He's playing in the three spot.
Yeah, that was
So
such a strong edge.
they're gonna give him a ball,
Yeah,
which they just couldn't last week because they never had the ball. That's the problem. And they're not gonna get flogged. Well, I hope as a Cowboys fan. I don't think they're gonna get flogged like that every week, which is why I'm gonna be holding on to him. It might just be a slow burn in cash, but he's just gonna sit in my emergencies anyway. So that's
yeah,
I'm just he's a strong, well, not strong, but he's a holder in our eyes.
that was such a
Um,
like dominant game from the Seagulls, and he was never really going to
oh,
do
it's
well
mental.
in there. But it's been such a dominant side of the Cowboys attack for so long that he could get a couple easy tries.
Yeah, I do agree. Moving on here, we've got Luke Metcalf here, who we've listed as a sell slash hold. It's either or. Do you want to just talk us through Metcalf here as why we think he's a sell slash hold?
Yeah, he's one that I think you could do either with. He had a really bad game on the weekend, and yeah, got a 24, which isn't amazing, but six missed tackles with two errors there. He won't have 18 negatives a game or 16 negatives a game there. Did play the Raiders, which they're not a great team, but a pretty easy draw coming up with Manly, Sydney, and Tigers into that bye there. I think if you need to use him to get to Humphreys, that's the only acceptable way I would trade him. But with that high break even of 38, it's probably one that he's going to have two massive scores there to go up in money. And with him, look to be kind of splitting the kick meters with Channel Harris Tavita, he also doesn't look as good of an option. So, yeah, for me, I'm happy you can sell. I'm happy for you to hold. What do you think?
I do agree. Keep in mind it's only about 14 days since he had that one performance in the trial game where he scored about 40, 50 odd and absolutely tore through that. I forgot who they were versing. but tore through the game. He was great, facilitated their attack. And I reckon the Warriors coach is just going to tell him, run the ball a bit more because he's got such a fantastic running game. I reckon they'll have a chat to him about what his role should be. And I do think he'll come back stronger. So if you can hold him, I would. But if you want to get Humphreys, then I'd probably make that trade. But we'll move on. Uh, moving on to our first sell. We've got Jack Bird in here. Do you want to talk us through Jack Bird, why he's a sell as a Tigers man, Will?
Yeah, he didn't look amazing off the bench there for 26 and 52 minutes. Kind of got the minutes we were hoping for, but yeah, just a lot of missed tackles there. And yeah, I don't really think he's a big enough body to be down the middle. We don't know what he can do, but if he's not playing that 70 to 80 minutes there, I don't think he is going to get enough minutes to score as well. Because if you turn that into a 80-minute game, he pretty much scores around a 40, and at his price, you're definitely happy with that. I don't think he's a screaming sell. Like I think there'd be if there's worse stuff in your team, you can sell. But with a break even of 28, it's still very, very like he can still definitely hit that. So I wouldn't say it's a screaming sell, but it's one that if you had the luxury to sell, I would.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, 26, you can't argue that he didn't get the minutes because he did. He got 52 minutes, and with those minutes, you'd expect to see a score with his PPM of around maybe 35 to 45, but he just didn't do it. Six missed tackles really hurts him, and I personally wouldn't have that liability on my team, especially when he's not starting. So that's why he's our first sell. Our second sell, another Tigers man, Royce Hunt, will take us through this one because, quite frankly, he wasn't good enough in my eyes.
Yeah, definitely a sell. Got the minutes we were sort of hoping for. We still would have liked more, but with his PPM at in 30 minutes, he should have got it and hit a 30, and he'd probably be a hold if he got a 30. But with that 15, didn't look good. Just what do you reckon his problem was? Didn't get enough involvement at all. Like, but he just didn't look fit enough, did he?
No, he was puffing after one run, and look, lost his head a bit there, gave away a penalty, I think, with Croker, was it? I think he give away a pen there, but lost his head. He just didn't look good. 15 points from 30 minutes, a bit of Mawale territory there.
Yeah, I didn't
And
even
look,
notice he was on the field for 30 minutes, to be honest.
yeah, that's how irrelevant he was, unfortunately, in that game. So if you still got him, I'd look to sell, but hang on, sorry. We'll just move on. We've left a few players out here. One who we should mention is Tamale. One who I'm personally getting in my team. Do you think it comes with a bit of risk with with Savage coming back next week and Hopewade still lingering?
Yeah, I do think it comes with risk. Hopper Wade is playing this week, and we do know what Tamale can do as a player. Played really well on the weekend, ran the ball for a lot, had a very good base there for a guy with that low of a break even and that. But yeah, I mean, do you think he's done enough to hold his spot from that one game?
Well, look, he's going to get another chance, which is great. I thought he was very impressive. Like no major attacking stats really, other than the seven tackle busts, two line breaks. All those line breaks were off running off the back fence though, from kicks or tackle resets. So if he can get a try assist even, his score will increase because he's always been a tackle busting man. So I still think I reckon he'll hold the spot. If
The
he puts
only
up another game close to that, he should hold it.
The only thing for me is I think he has a very tough draw coming up with the Broncos, who I'm tipped to be top four, Manly, who will be in or around the top four, and Cronulla, who will be in or around the top four, and Cows, who could definitely be a top 18 this year. So I think he does have
Yeah.
quite a tough draw for the next four games there. And the Warriors didn't look amazing at all. So I don't know if I'd be expecting 49 from Tamale every week. And I do think that if one low score from Tamale where the Raiders get destroyed, that could be finished. Or his cash grab could be finished. And now at 330K, I feel like it is a little bit more risky with that harder draw. Do you agree?
I do agree. Maybe I'm just considering my trades after this. Maybe I can just go Mawale to Metcalf, I mean to Humphreys and then just bank the cash. Dude, the only risk there is I just don't want to start Purdue in my centers, and I've gone cheap on centers this year, so I might just stick with Tamale and pray that he gets the spot. Even if he doesn't, hopefully he can get another 40 to 45 and make me 30K. So I'll probably still end up with him. Another one here, Sitili Tupouniua, one who I think scored a double last week and looked very impressive off the bench. Um, yeah, look at that, 66 points in 42 minutes. Do you have any interest in Sitili personally, Will?
Well, he's been brought in by 2.7% of teams, and you do see that Sam Hughes is there for 6 to 8 weeks, which
Yeah,
could help Solidity, but I mean, if you can just filter it by 2024 stats and that, like he's
like the Roosters, he was rubbish.
yeah, he's never been amazing of a scorer while playing there, like a 33.8 average, which on that he doesn't have really any points of value at all. Low break even there, but I mean, games that he scores a try, he scores well, but without tries, he's in all sorts. And I believe if you go back to that one game he played there in 2025, he yeah, without that try, he does not score anywhere near as well. It's only the 15 tackles and 171 meters for me. Yeah, do you have any interest in Solidity at all, considering that 2.7% of teams have brought him in?
Nah, I think he's still a trap, unfortunately. Not a trap necessarily, like the break even helps, but look, obviously not going to score two tries or even a try every week and two line breaks, five tackle busts as well, just relying way too much on attacking stats.
Yeah,
So there's so many better options
not
than
a trap.
just go
One that I
Gilbert for an
would
extra
say,
80K.
if he can get big minutes, the next, like if he can get big minutes this week with Hughes out, he could become an option, but I don't think he will, considering the fact that what's his face, Josh Curran is back.
Yeah, I do agree. So I'm staying away from Sitili here. A last player who I forgot to add, Hamale Olakau'atu with I think 69 points. Yeah, against the Cowboys there in that decimation. Do you have any interest in Hamale? He's 12% owned, so he's no longer a pod. 67 minutes, a try, a line break assist, eight tackle busts. Extremely attacking dominant. Do you worry about that for Hamale, or are you still interested in him?
Yeah, well, he's been brought in by 1.7% of teams, and for me, I think the Eagles will have a very, very good run this year. And I also have a prediction that he's going to do really well because Turbo, and I do think that Tom Trbojevic is back to his 2021 form there, along with Daly Cherry Evans. So yeah, I think that Daly's so crucial for him, and with Turbo being there, that's better for Daly. And I think if it's better for Daly, it's better for Molly. The thing for me is only a base stats of 35 there, but with the eight tackle bust and the offload game, I do think that he is one that relies heavily on his attacking stats, but I mean can get him any given week there. And the next 3 games, he could go absolutely nuclear there. So I think it's kind of like if you want a gun edge and you don't really know what to do with your edge, he's sort of the one to go. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. 691K, he can make so much more money. 40 break even of 41, all he needs is another 60-point game with 9 points of value there, and he'll make an extra 20K. I can see him being 750K onwards, which is why he's so good. Um, so he's a decent buy if you have the money, but at the moment this week, there's other options I'd look at just for a cheaper price, like Corey Horsburgh and Gilbert. But another one I'd like to speak on, Will, if you'd like to take us through it. Oh, whoops. Max King with the news of Salmon being out. Not Salmon. Hughes being out for 6 to 8 weeks. Do you reckon this affects Max King's minutes?
Yeah, I think that him and Curran will play bulk of the minutes at prop with about 60-ish minutes there, and we all know what he can do in 60 minutes. And I do think with him being there for 60 minutes, he could very easily do well there. And that I mean, he needs the minutes. We know what he can do when he gets those minutes. Had 51 and 48 minutes there, but last year he became an option, and everyone brought him in. He did quite well there when getting the big minutes there. Good offload player, big PPM, doesn't miss too many tackles. I think that it's a very interesting pod play. I would personally look at I'd rank it as a Corey Horsburgh Then one that has not been spoken about at all that I would actually like to spoke about is Lindsay Smith, then a Max King there. And yeah, how would you rank it, and how do you see King as a buy of a pod middle kind of to look towards?
Well, look, Max King, he got 48 minutes in the game last week and scored 51 points, which is really good. I reckon he can get 55 minutes, hopefully, and then score 55 to 60 points. And that is, if he can do that, that's 15 to hang on, sorry, my maths are off. Yeah, that's about 6 to 10 points of value there, which is great for him. But yeah, I'd probably go like you said, I'd probably go Corey on top, and then Lindsay Smith, one who I really haven't thought of. Maybe Max King over Lindsay Smith, but we'll talk about him real quick for you. Um, Smith. Do you have any interest in Lindsay Smith at all?
Yeah, I've got an incredible amount of interest in Lindsay Smith. It was one that I was set on bringing in this week, but I just couldn't fit him in. You see those stats when playing a prop, they're not amazing, but and he does lose money there, but he looked incredible on that weekend. I think he's going to have to come into that big minute role now with Fisher Harris leaving and Leota just getting older there. Can you filter it by games over 50 minutes? He has an average of 45.8, which I don't think it's a slam dunk. Like
Great.
I do think it comes with a little bit of risk there. But in 2024, he had an incredible year there, and I think he even looks like a better player on the Panthers team. Just an absolute workhorse, isn't he, Lindsay? Looking at those stats and knowing that Fisher Harris, who is a big minute forward and the leader of the pack, has left, Leota getting older, not playing as many minutes, and Liam Henry still not there this week. Do you have any interest in Smith at all as a massive pod play to go with?
Another one who we were talking about before with Max King, I'd still take Corey Horsburgh and Tom Gilbert over Lindsay Smith and Max King. But if you want a pod play, Lindsay Smith and Max King, one of the two, could be a very solid option. Penrith looking great again this year. Lindsay Smith with Liam Henry out should still get 55 to 60 minutes, which, like as you can see, is all he really needs to get around 50 points. So there is a little bit of value to be made there, not a hell of a lot. But if you want a pod play, look, it's not a bad option at all. So
And
yeah, that's
one more player
what's
I
that,
want to
sorry?
talk about is can you bring up Talkiaho quickly? As I think he's only out for the 1 week with a really sore knee there. And with that being left in mind, so maybe that's why he didn't play as big in minutes as we expected in that. Do you think that now with that been knowing that makes Talkiaho kind of a hold if you have him in your team with him only being out for really 1 week?
Um, not really too much to discuss because only 1% of people own him. He didn't look great, really. Even with the apparent knee injury. Oh, hang on. Yeah, yeah, you're right. He probably did get a knee injury. Well, he did get a knee injury. 16 points from 22 minutes. Look, it's probably not good enough still. So I'd probably look to sell him and move him on to a Humphreys or a Tamale if you have the money for a Humphreys. So do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I think that he's one that now that he's out for just a 1 week, he could look to hold. I think we all know what he could do, but yeah, I do think that if you need to get him to a Humphreys, then that's probably the only way that I would really look to sell him. Other than that, I think you can kind of just hold him, and you can't loop because their game's pretty early on, I believe. But yeah, other than that, I would just hold him and hope that he comes good next week.
Yeah, I do agree. That's all we got time for tonight. That's our buy, hold, sells with a few pods in there. As always, thanks for all the support on YouTube and Instagram. If you haven't seen our private group, check out our post on Instagram. $40 for the whole season, very worth it. And we've got a lot of people in there who come top 1% consistently. So if you want to level up your fantasy game, I'd suggest having a look at that. Any questions, leave a DM in at Instagram or just leave a comment down below. And Will, any final comments?
Nah, not much. Yeah, thanks for always supporting us, boys, and yeah, really appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next one, which will be our round wrap up. I won't be doing a trades
Yeah,
video anymore though. If you're interested in that, follow the Instagram and yeah,
yeah. See you
cheers,
fellas. See
guys.
you next one.